welcome to the Watching Now podcast from Couch Soup. We're watching Alien Earth yet again. We're on episode 5. Sort of. It's short of maybe could have been episode 1, but like we're on episode 5 and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it in a non-spoilery way first, and then we're going to talk about it in a spoilery way. And then we're going to sum it up. This is what we do in meetings. We
That
we
is,
we we tell you what you're going to talk about. We talk about it, and then we told you what we talk about.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Don't nobody understand the words that are coming out of your mouth, man.
Well, let me introduce you to the crew. Let me
are you
introduce.
are you okay?
No, let me introduce you to the crew. We've got KD,
Hello.
and we've got our wonderful Lily again.
Hello there, it's me. Hi.
And also you have me. I'm Ian. You know me
Was that a
because I'm
question?
maybe I do I know myself?
Ian?
I don't even know. Strong start, Ian. Strong start. Where are we going? Let's just go into it. Let's go straight into it. Let's go into our initial thoughts on this episode. Lily, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure, Ian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Ian.
Thanks, Ian. Well, as I mentioned last week, I actually really liked how the first episode started on the ship because I thought that they really captured the atmosphere of what Alien is. And then I was very hopeful for this episode because it was very obvious from the trailer that it's going to be, the what happened episode, basically, the bottle episode of the season. No. It's just, no. It gave me the best fucking line in the entire series so far. So that's that. Is that at least it acknowledges its own mistake and its own stupidness. So that's good. That was a good point. I still like that. I like the irony. I wish they wouldn't have went with the irony, but they did. So yeah, I'm massively disappointed. And honestly, I'm reading the comments on sites and everywhere, and I'm like, it's so obvious who's been an Alien fan for a very long time and who's just watching this basically and haven't even seen anything else from the Alien universe, because those people really liked it. And the people who know Alien, they are like, the fuck was that? You know? There were good moments. I'm not going to say that weren't. But, by the end, I was just laughing, which is not good. I shouldn't be laughing at Alien, probably. So, yeah, I'm massively disappointed, unfortunately.
I'm going to take it not down, that's kind of the opposite, up a level and say I wasn't massively disappointed, but I was dissatisfied with the way that the episode kind of played out. I wanted to enjoy it more than I did, but I don't think it went the way I think they were hoping it would. I don't know how much of that comes from the fact that like I like the first Alien fine, but it's like the vibe of it is not my favorite, and I know that that is a big thing for a lot of people. Not saying that this is exactly like that, I think, but it's clearly pulling from that as much as possible. And it didn't hit for me much. I kind of found myself missing all the other characters that we've gotten to know over the course of the season so far. And I didn't like the crew. So it was kind of like
Bored now.
I didn't feel much for them as the events of the episode went on. Yeah, I just found myself kind of going, I guess there's moments in it that I thought were excellent. I think the filmmaking continues to be very well done.
Yeah.
There was one moment where there was a bit of a weird cut, but that's just a that's just a me sort of like thing. But for the most part, yeah, the way that the show is made, I have no faults with at all because it looks stunning, and I think the direction is really strong. I just don't think I was on board entirely with the direction that they decided to go in for the episode. But yeah, I have other, but there's some stuff in here that I did enjoy quite a bit, and I think it was interesting. I do much like Lily said, like when we're coming to the question of like why is this a prequel? I do find myself asking like what was the point in putting this episode here in terms of like the episode order? Like you said, like could have this have been like episode one or what have you. I feel like there's like a certain element of it that means that there's one element of it that where I'm like I can see why they put this information here at this point because it kind of puts other things into perspective. But in terms of like a full like episode timeline, I'm kind of going, I don't think this needed to be here, really. I don't think it really adds a whole lot of dramatic irony to reveal some of the things that they've put in this episode here. But you know, say la vie. It's not for me.
Hmm.
It's not for me.
So this is where I feel. I think this is a good episode of TV.
Sure,
I don't think this is a good episode of the series.
I agree.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to get a bit of shit for this, but this episode like is the Bill and Frank episode of Last of Us series one. It's a perfectly good episode of TV, pretty good episode of TV. But we don't need to be in Last of Us series one. You don't learn enough about the ongoing narrative on in Neverland and with Morrow from this episode to make it worthwhile as an episode in this series. If this was its own little, let's have a look at what happened to the Maginot thing, I'd be fine with it. But I don't think we learn enough about anything else which is gonna like enhance the rest of the series in this. Maybe 3 or 4 things, but not an hour and 5 minutes worth, which is what the length of this episode is. But did I enjoy it? I had a good time. I had a good time with it. And that's probably the main thing. I'm still looking forward to watching this series every week.
I don't know if I entirely agree about the Bill and Frank of it all
Yeah,
in
I know.
terms of
That's
Last of
why I
Us,
said
but
I was
weird
going to
thing.
get shit
But
about
well,
it.
that's fair. I just wanted to put it out there. I'm like, but I understand the comparison. So, and also this is not a Last of Us podcast, so we're not going to get into that.
So that's our initial thoughts.
Mhm.
Let's go on to the spoilers then. Spoilers. Like we just said, there's not a lot of ongoing characters here. In fact, there's only one ongoing character here, and 2 if you count the alien. Maybe 3 or 4 if you count the other aliens. But like, there's
Boy
not.
Cavalier also shows up for like
Yeah,
a
for
scene.
a tiny minute. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know where to start really.
I found it very difficult to make notes about this episode because after it finished, I kind of went, I just sort of shrugged and was like, I don't really have anything to say about most of that.
Oh, I do.
So where would you like to start then, Lily?
I want to start with my favorite line because it perfectly describes this shit. I took a photo
Mhm.
because I was like, this is brilliant. Well done. I wish it wasn't true for your series. It means this space bug is proof of how stupid smart people can be.
Mm.
Just
It does. I think that may have been the thesis for the episode.
but it's okay. No, here's my notes because I made a lot of notes. I was like, what's the Nostromo? Nostromo is a mining vessel, so there are not really scientists on it. Like, it's for mining. It's not
Yeah.
for scientist stuff.
Mm.
But then here we have this ship, which is very specifically about science and about biology and about finding different creatures, I guess, in like we've never seen before. And then they have the most idiotic, absolutely stupid people on board, and you're sitting there like, is this the best they could do?
Is that the best you could do? You had to ask.
To get a crew together, is this really it? I mean, we have a creep who's staring at sleeping women, and he is honestly scarier than any alien that you've ever seen, and it gives you more creeps than the Xenomorph or any of the alien creatures that in the episode. And then you have 2 doctors who are so fucking incompetent that you just hold your head like, how how are you still alive? How did you even collect these species without dying on spot? Like, what the fuck? Like, one of them is like,
I think just to pick up on that really quickly, I don't think these people were the people who collected it. They specifically said not the people who are on the ship that we're seeing aren't. I don't think they're the people who collected them. They because they made an absolute point to say we lost a lot of people trying to collect these people, these things. These are doctors who don't go out in the field.
Good God, man! I'm a doctor, not a savage!
but those people were also on the ship that they lost.
Yeah, but they could have been in sleep.
Okay, but still, like, you know,
Okay.
I'm with Lily. I don't think it takes away from the fact that it seems like everybody on board this vessel is a fucking
stupid.
idiot.
It's just everyone is a fucking idiot. Like,
I'm just
there's no
saying
exception.
I'm just saying that they probably weren't the one who captured it in the first place.
Okay, but still, they're still fucking idiots. It doesn't change that fact. Like, come on, when you're working with alien species, and you know they are dangerous because it's obvious, but you just don't pay attention to seal their container properly. For example, you don't pay attention to that, and then you have
open liquids in a lab. Are you kidding me?
I was
Safety
like,
protocol.
You just set up yourself for failure. That's brilliant. Well done. And then you have a doctor who's like in the surgery room with a lit cigarette as well. And then he's stupid enough to try and pull off an alien life form from someone without any safety equipment because he can, and he's just saving a life and he's doing so well. And then he kills everyone. And they are all dead. And everyone makes decisions here that are literally in there just to serve the plot of everyone dying on the ship. That's it. Like, there's no smart thought behind anything. The only competent person is Morrow, but he really...
But he doesn't care about the lives of the people, which is means
yeah.
that, you know, the end result remains the same.
Yeah, but then, okay, you have all this because this is unfortunately... But again, for the Nostromo, I can forgive them because, and for Aliens as well, I can forgive those films because no one is a scientist there, so no one is there with a scientific purpose. But I cannot forgive Prometheus. I cannot forgive this. We have people here who are scientists, and they are just fucking idiots. They do things that are like no smart person would ever do in this situation. With following safety protocols and whatnot. But despite all of that, the stupidest moment in the entire thing, there are two, but I will mention one first because I was like, Jesus Christ. The stupidest thing is Morrow finds the tape of the boy Cavalier himself calling someone to steal the creatures, and I'm like, it would have made more sense if it's like Kirsch or someone, but the man himself, who is the head of Prodigy, calling up one of the crew members.
I don't think that's what happened, Lily. But I just want to go back to the incompetence. I don't disagree. These are idiots. It's like watching a Final Destination film with some of these people. They are oblivious to any dangers around them, even though you are the one that's seeing all of those dangers happen. I do think that the scientists underestimated all of the monsters, but this aside from that, these scientists have signed up to. Now, it could be because of their like their interest in the subject. It could be because of their curiosity. It could be they are the best people for this job. But the way that the engineer speaks about it, they signed up to a 65-year mission where everybody that they love will be dead at the end. So they may not be able to get the best and brightest. We even know that the doctor has a drug problem or had a drug problem. I don't know if this crew is the best of the best. It's the best of the people that they could get to go on a 65-year journey and leave all of their loved ones behind.
No.
What do you mean no? That's the facts.
Yeah, but you still not like if this mission is that important, then you want these creatures back and you need them to be in one piece and whatnot. You're still gonna make sure that you're not gonna employ just complete idiots. That's it. It's like one factor is that yes, you're gonna go on this mission and you're probably all your loved ones gonna be dead by the time you come back, so you have to live with that. But that's just one point. The second that they're gonna pay attention to is that we need people who are capable of doing this,
Mhm.
and they don't have those. This is like this entire crew is like
It does, to Ian's earlier point, feel like we could extrapolate potentially that the people who were actively the most competent had already been taken out. So we are left with like the dregs of like these are truly, but like I don't know. The thing that really exemplified the episode to me was that scene in the sort of dining area where Zavani is trying to be like, hey, things are fucked, and nobody cares. Because I was sitting there going like, none of you are like, I don't like any of you. I find you all actively irritating. And like, I can buy whatever you're putting down, basically. Like, I can buy the framework. I can buy that these are not necessarily the most like the pinnacle of like the people who are going to be doing X, Y, and Z jobs because certain other people who might have been more put together had already been taken out or anything. Who knows? I don't know. But I just found myself going, why? There's no horror in this for me because I don't care about what happens to any of these people
Mhm.
besides Morrow. And I already know that Morrow survives.
Yes.
So, like, everybody else on the ship, I'm going, well, all these people are going to die. So it becomes a thing of like,
Didums.
well, there you go. Let's
Mhm.
watch all the various ways that these people afford, to go to their deaths. I also felt like, and this might be more of a me problem because I do have a bit of face blindness. I'm not very good at remembering who certain people are, but because we had the whole first two episodes where they're going through the wreckage and everything, and we kind of know we're supposed to know where everybody is. But also I don't know any of these people well enough to feel the narrative like
Mhm.
build up towards like where certain people are going to die. Because I'd forgotten that Zavani was the one who was banging on the door in the first episode, which
Same.
was this is my number one point. The first thing I wrote down was how annoyed I was it took her so long to die.
Why didn't I die?
Because you have that entire sequence where the alien, which has never looked more like a man in a suit, I don't
yeah.
understand how they've like. I was sitting there going like, I swear it didn't look that much like a guy in a suit in the original movie, but like, eh.
The
um,
original, yes, it does. The
all right,
original does. It has that whole moment where it goes, "Bleh." And like it's definitely a guy in a suit in the original, but
yeah.
carry
I
on.
don't know. It's almost. I think it's the legs. The legs look way too human to me. I'm just like that is a human man wearing a horse mask. That's the vibe that I was getting from it. But like the moment it comes down from the ceiling and it just stands in front of her for ages, I'm kind of going like, is this alien in particular just kind of dumb? Like I don't like why didn't it kill her immediately?
Exactly. It's especially because it is very well established that if you meet the alien and like that close, you're dead. Except for Ripley in episode
Like
three.
Disagree. I really disagree about that. Like, there's more incidents of the alien playing with its food than there isn't of just death and destruction. Remember Aliens, you know? The people got taken and gooed up all
To
against the wall.
yeah, but
Yeah.
that's different.
How is
That's
it
for
different? It's the same. You know,
no,
it's
it's
the
not the
same.
same because there's no queen on this ship. So why would he take out
Mhm.
the people?
We've had Romulus. They were playing with trying to draw people out.
yeah, but I was annoyed by Romulus as well.
Yeah,
But
Romulus is not a good example.
like the alien has its moments where it tries to play with people, and you
I
can't say that it always goes and immediately kills them because it
That's
doesn't.
true. It doesn't when it takes you to the lair where the queen is and where the eggs is and where its existence depends on because that's how they multiply by taking people and infecting them and putting parasites inside them.
Regardless of like any of the other instances, I thought in this specific instance, I wasn't believing the fact that
Nope.
it would just let her run away that fast.
Nope.
Right? I just
Nope.
did the whole sequence just made me go, well, that feels okay, sure.
That's just yeah.
And I found her more annoying than basically everybody else on that ship. I was like, girl, get your shit together. Come, please. And I know she's like there as like she's not meant to be the captain and she's really just had to take on this role. But also, fuck's sake, maybe just like do something. I don't know. And I know that there was set up in there in that she was compromised by the fact that she had that relationship with Bronsky, who was also dead. And so like at that point she was already emotionally compromised and could not like make better decisions. But this doesn't mean that I like her or any of the decisions that she then did make. Like even if there is narrative justification for it, I'm not feeling sympathetic about in the whole thing. I just got annoyed. And I think it's part because of the fact we've already had 4 episodes of setting up that Morrow is very competent and does think things through. And he's 1,000% my favorite character at this point. So when he's there, like, no, I think I should take charge. I'm like, yeah, you should take charge.
100%.
And everybody else being like, no, we have to try and save their lives. I'm like, fucking get that shit out of the, just space it now. There's nothing, like, we're fucked at this point. And I know that there's an element of like, we have more narrative. Like the people in an alien movie don't know they're in an alien movie, right? It's that thing of like, they can't know that like things are going to go. But like, I feel like you can extrapolate a little bit that like shit is fucked and like, just let this person should just be left to die.
Game over, man. It's game over.
The kid, I can't remember his name, but like Malachite.
Malachite, yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe I remembered that. It just suddenly came to me. But like that whole sequence of them being like, oh, he's like covered in ticks and all this sort of stuff. Let's open him up. I'm like, babe, bruh.
No.
In what world?
Stupid decisions.
Like
But
he's
did they
already
know?
mostly dead.
Yeah. Did they know that the ticks like secrete
Yeah,
some
but
weird
no.
gas?
But I think
Ian,
at that
come on.
point, like at that point,
Come on.
I think if there's that many, I think at that point it's like, especially they already have protocol for this as well, where it's like freeze them until we arrive in our destination.
Yeah.
That should have been followed. Like the thing about it was that they were actively going against the protocols that were in place. If we were being like really sensible, you would have sent that guy back into space because you still have specimens on board. And that's just bad news waiting to happen, right?
Yeah, it's exactly like the first Alien. They went against the protocols.
As Lily said, this is the thing. These people are meant to be doctors and scientists, not mining vessels,
not miners.
Yeah.
And don't forget that in Alien, Ripley was like, "You're not bringing him on the ship."
Yeah,
because that's an unknown species, and you know there was a sensible person there who said absolutely not,
which was Morrow in this instance.
Yeah. But still, like, you know, these again, and that's just the most annoying part. And this is what I said about the Boy Cavalier as well. When you set these people up to be like scientists, whatever, and you set them up to be like, these are the smart people. These are the people who we chose very specifically because they are smart, they know what they're doing, and they keep doing things that are implying that they are not smart. They are actually stupid.
I do think that this guy, I can't remember his name, began with a P, Petrovich. I don't think he was. We didn't get did we get a job title from him? Because I can't.
Chief engineer, it said in the show.
Chief engineer. Yeah.
Okay, then it's kind of like, and plus, I think there's more going on in that relationship than we saw. There was like an implication that he reached out, like he was the one who reached out to the. But at that point, how? Because he didn't even seem to know who he was. So, but there was something in him that made him want to like go against Weyland-Yutani, and we didn't get the context for that, which I feel like is the thing that we should have been sold in this episode, if anything. but I don't know. Maybe I'm just saying things, but like,
In the first episode, which I rewatched the first bit of the first
mm,
episode to have a look. Petrovich is on in the dining area,
yeah,
and I can't remember Malachi and the Northern Irish engineer guy are talking about the four companies. It's Petrovich who says no, actually there's five. It's Prodigy, so he knows about Prodigy already.
mm.
So it stands to reason for
He's
me that
already been
he's the
talking
one.
to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, sure. It's one of those like there's a nugget of information in there that I'm like, that's the thing I want to know. Why
Hmm.
aren't you telling me what that is yet? And I'm hoping that there is a reason for it, but like I've been hoping for that for like a lot of the stuff in the season, and I don't know. I can't say if I'm just not going to get it because we haven't gotten to it yet, so I'm not going to make any like pessimistic assumptions about the direction that the rest of the series is going in.
Hmm.
I will reserve judgment until we get to the end of the last episode, right? But there's just like there's little bits and pieces in here that I'm kind of like, well, that's the thing I'm interested in. Why haven't we gone into that bit? I don't know. What I did like about the episode, unless anybody wants to talk about anything else, before I shuffle us onto a different part that I actually did enjoy quite a bit.
I don't know which part we're on.
All right.
We're just talking about it generally.
Fair
That's
enough.
okay.
Morrow, because I think again, Morrow has the most interesting stuff in this episode. He has the stuff that we actually do. We get more context on who he is as a character. We get more context on his backstory. And there's an implication in here that I found really interesting, but I'll go into it when like we go through the whole thing. But we found out about his daughter
Hmm.
and the fact that she died.
Hmm.
And we find out that like he clearly essentially sold his soul to do this because he was already really loyal to Yutani specifically because she kind of essentially plucked him off the street and made him stronger. Like
Yeah.
in the very similar way to the way that the Boy Cavalier has done to these kids.
Yeah.
There's like a very obvious parallel going on there. And it also makes more sense as to why he is a cyborg now compared to just having him be another synthetic because it was taking him and making him slightly stronger, but at the same time making him kind of an imperfect version of what we've got with the hybrids. So like I think that the stuff around that is great. I really liked all of the section where we basically got to see him be a human being kind of for the first time, where he's allowing himself this moment to like feel grief and like stress, I guess, around the stuff he has to do and the fact that the reason he went off on this mission in the first place was for his kid to basically, I don't know if anybody, because I paused the episode to read the letter.
I didn't.
So the letter that he got from his daughter, where she basically says, I have to imagine she must be about 17, 18 in this letter. I can't, there's no like, but like the implication is she's looking for colleges and part of him going on this mission means that she can get a full ride scholarship to go to a Wayland-Yutani university. And she's questioning the decision to do that because they only have like a very strict syllabus where they teach a certain amount of stuff because they're basically producing people that will come work for the company. And she's like, I kind of want to go to one of the old world universities like Harvard, but I'd have to pay, we'd have to pay out of pocket. And then in the very next thing, she's 19 and she's died in a house fire. And it feels like there's an implication here that she tried to go against the company and they may have killed her for it.
Potentially, but Morrow doesn't think that because he's very
Morrow
loyal
doesn't.
still.
No, Morrow doesn't think that. I think that. I
Okay.
think that there is an implication here that like in order to keep him loyal, because if she's not going to a Wayland-Yutani corporation, there's a point where he starts going, well, why am I still giving myself over to this company? But if she dies in a totally tragic and unavoidable house fire, well, then the only thing he has left is the company,
Hmm.
and therefore he has to give all of his loyalty because he's already put in all the work, and this happens 8 years into the 65-year mission. So it's like it's like I don't know if this is actually the case, but I think this is this is what I'm reading from it, and if it is this, I love it as like kind of a critique, and a comment on the whole like capitalist system, which I think is one of the things that the series is doing very well, and really making sure to point out that these fucking companies are shit. They are awful, and maybe we shouldn't be letting capitalism run our lives. I don't know. But it's the like implication that like, oh, they saw a crossroads here where this kid might not, like, they're like bargaining chip, basically the thing that's going to keep him loyal might move off in a different direction and end up having a better life for it, and they can't be having that. So we should just kill her, and therefore then he has to just like, then it's like sunk cost fallacy, and he just has to commit for the rest of his life because he's got nothing else to give into. And I'm like, oh fuck, he's so good. I've said this every single week, but Babu is, and I made an effort to remember his name this time. Like I wrote it down. I'm just like, names are like my fucking kryptonite. But Babu is phenomenal in every scene that he's in, and is brilliant in every moment of this episode. And I just, all that stuff around his character and everything he does in the episode, I'm like, this is the most interesting part of this entire thing for me. And I would watch so much more of him doing anything, really.
Well, we are going to get that because the episode ends with him forming a Yutani strike team for the Neverland.
Anything he wants, he gets.
Anything he wants, he gets. God, that was sick. That last little shot with the cherry blossom and the port window to the rest of the city. It was great. Lily, you have an issue with the Xenomorph's screen time.
Yeah, we're once again here watching an Alien series without the Xenomorph actually being in or barely in it. And yes, you can bring up the argument that in the first Alien movie, he has like 4 minutes of screen time, but that was the point. That was the fucking point of the entire thing, that it is lurking around, and you feel the all the stress and all the real terror of like, where could it be because of that, and it was done brilliantly. But here, since you don't need to establish that again, and we know that it is around and it is there. Sure, yeah, it could be just lurking around, but again, we're focused on everything else except for the Xenomorph, which this series is supposedly about, because it is still looked at as being the superior out of everything that they got. Yeah, and honestly, it just, the most comical parts came with the Xenomorph, and I was like,
so I you know, you put it in your argument to already like take away my argument, but it isn't in a lot of like the most of the Alien movies. The Xenomorph doesn't appear for prolonged periods of time. You know, the Alien's like 4 minutes. Alien 3 is like what, 5, if that. Romulus is probably about 5 or 6 as well. We're probably getting about 4 or 5 in an episode at the moment, and that's and over the course of the season, that will add up to way more Xenomorph than any of the films.
Just while Lily processes, I will give my like a devil advocate opinion to suggest that I think the trouble here is that the Xenomorph isn't the only focus when it's not on screen. There's other things going on that kind of pulls away from the idea of it being around and like causing mischief. Whereas in other Alien things, it is kind of the primary antagonistic force. That's it. that's the argument.
Yeah, you've got the octopus eye thing, which is causing a bit of mischief.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the octopus eye, actually.
I have questions, actually.
Is the octopus eye evil? Because I don't fucking know anymore.
So here's the thing. I thought it was, and then I went online and everybody was like, oh, I can't believe it was helping. I was like, what?
Absolutely helping.
It was helping, yeah.
I misread this entire scene. I genuinely was sitting there going, I thought it was distracting her so it could get out.
That's enough.
I thought that. I genuinely thought.
No.
And
it was super clear that it was helping.
I'm apparently stupid, but literally I was watching the scene because I thought it was being smart and using the distraction. It knew it was coming, and I thought it was like, oh, I'm gonna get in on this, and I'll get her attention so she's not paying attention to it properly. So she won't notice when it climbs out. And then I don't know. I didn't get what was going on in the sequence with the guy from Space, whose name I can't remember, the Northern Irish guy.
Right.
I didn't realize that that was helping. Apparently he's a friend. I don't know. I just read the whole thing
Yeah.
completely wrong. Is what I found
So
out after the episode.
the first scene where the bug's trying to get out, it sees that the bug's trying to get out, and it's
Mm,
like, wait, you probably just have a can you have a look at it, your bug friend? You
mm,
know,
Yeah.
it's getting out. So we don't see it take over the Northern Irish guy,
mm,
which is a plot hole for me at the moment where I don't know what happened there. But there's not a lot of like, when the octopus eye takes over the sheep,
mm,
there's a lot of like there's blood everywhere. There's
mm.
all over the face, but there's not that on the Northern Irish guy. Don't know what that means. Like he's just got the eye in, but you do not see the 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 alien. Well, he didn't kill Zavari. He knocked her out, which
Mm.
again, it
Yeah,
really
which really confused me in the moment because I had already had the previous scene where I thought it was trying to distract. I just thought it was trying to get out. I thought it was like completely like dead neutral. But so when I saw that, I was like, why didn't it kill her? I'm very confused here.
Mhm.
Which didn't help because apparently I'm an idiot.
And like Morrow comes in, Morrow points the gun at him, and he's
Mm.
like, well, "Come on, mate, I'm trying to help." And then he screams a little bit, trying to talk probably through Irish guy's
I
thing.
think that's the other thing that confused me. I thought it was calling the alien to kill him.
Yeah, I thought it was a word of warning at that point. And then Morrow gets past him, and he still goes after the Xenomorph, trying to help. Yeah,
Hey,
I know.
it didn't get in there because it's not got eyes.
It's not got eyes, but but it's always it felt like it was trying to distract the xenomorph from killing the humans. Yes, Lily, we can go on to how silly it looked that a grown
It's
man was on the back of xenomorph.
it's
That's very
it's I honestly I was like I was watching that scene and I was like, are they fucking serious right now? Like I actually laughed out loud when it happened. I was like, oh no. Why would you fucking do that? It's just the stupidest thing that I've ever seen in any alien, and I've seen fucking Covenant, which is dog shit. But I'm like, no, like why? And then when it jumps on the xenomorph and trying to take over it non-existent eyes, that was the other scene where I just couldn't help but laugh. It was just pure comedy gold for me. I was like, ah, Jesus Christ. And again, this is like the creature itself is very interesting. I agree. Like I actually when it knocked for the scientists to fucking turn around and look,
Mhm.
I was like, oh wow, that's okay. I that's very intriguing and what is going on now because this thing looked to be evil so far, but it might not be not. So that is very intriguing. But then again, I started to think about like we established like at the very beginning that the company wants the xenomorph because it's like the purest life form and it's the perfect organism and it's just everything that they need basically. And then when you start putting in things like this creature, the octopus eye, you're like, so they're not like why do we put in something new that looks to be even more advanced and better in many ways than the xenomorph itself?
better in some ways, but not all the ways. I
Yeah.
think the xenomorph still has some things that because the octopus eye is obviously it's small. When it comes to the xenomorphs, they are more like a force of nature. It's like deeply neutral. It's like true neutral. Like they want death. They want to kill and breed and all this sort of stuff. The octopus eye seems to have some kind of morality, question mark, wherein it wants to help supposedly, which gives a slightly different like take on things, I guess. But it's also very small and it has to be hyper intelligent in like a very focused way. as opposed to the alien, which has strength and like natural defenses on its side as well. So there's peaks and valleys to both of them. Which is not to say the Xenomorph isn't also very smart, but it's smart in a slightly different way. It's smart in a like environmentally conscious, which they're not, it
It
understands how
loves
to.
renewable energy.
It's
Is
just
that what we're
it
talking
really
about?
is really into recycling. No, it's like, isn't it like understands how to manipulate the environment around it in order to get the things that it wants. Whereas I think the eye seems to understand people or like has an affinity for them in a way that is slightly different to the way that the Xenomorph was. I do have a question because again, I'm not fully versed in the Xenomorph lore, which apparently means I should shut my mouth.
Damn!
I had to get one in there. Why does everybody immediately know to call it the Xenomorph?
Yes, absolutely. This is exactly what I want to talk about.
I'm confused on like where did everybody get this name from and why do they all know it?
Maybe Lily can put more on this, but from the history lore that I've been reading about the Xenomorph origins is that that alien isn't actually called the Xenomorph. It is just as what Lieutenant Gorman calls generic aliens, generic ones, not even the one we call the Xenomorph, um, because they're just xenomorphs. And then I think it's Hicks says, yeah, we're going on a bug hunt, like it's just generic bugs. Over the years, because that's what Gorman said, we as the audience have called the alien specifically a xenomorph. But now it seems like this is a timey-wimey shit that I don't really like, is that everyone's calling it a xenomorph. And not only that, Zavari asks, how big do these grow up to anyway? Like someone already knows. So that not only is this the first time that an alien appears in this universe, but it's also intimated that they've seen one before 65 years ago. And that is weird to me. And I'm all for letting lore grow. And I know that's not what Lily's for in this one, but I can't and until we get like more information on the mission and who set that up and the specifics of that mission. It wasn't just like a go to this planet, see what you can find type thing. It was a targeted go get me these things. I don't know what I can comment about that.
There was a moment where somebody used a slightly different word. I think it was like oxomorph or something like that to suggest that like there's like class system in terms of like this is like a small version and then this is a big version. So like the big version just inherently, but like it's the fact that everybody seems to know what this means, but we haven't actually been told what's this system? Why does everybody know what this word is? If we look at it like from an etymology standpoint, like morph is like to change something. So that kind of makes sense because it is something that like goes from different states, right? I can see how you could get there. I don't actually know what Xeno means. It's like
It means other or strange.
okay, so but like that's a really specific word for everybody to just be like, this is a term we all use. I'm like,
Yes.
what? How? Since when? Why are we all using this like we all know what this means? I thought this was very specific to like
It is, and it's as Ian said, it is coming from the fans. So it was never established in the alien itself that they called Xenomorph. Just like the space jockey. The space jockey was named by people who watched the first Alien, and they had to give the giant space astronaut something, some kind of a name instead of just the body. So it became the space jockey. The Xenomorph was also the face hugger, the chest burster. These are all coming from people who watched and liked Alien. So the fact that they are now saying it in the series, like it's an already established thing, and again, it implies that people have encountered them before, which I'm sure in some twisted fucking way gonna lead back to either reports from the whatever happened in Prometheus or Alien Covenant or whatever that Ridley Scott never got to make, it's gonna come up in one way or another of why they know this, unfortunately.
I'm inclined to believe that we might not the line that we've been given about this series about like it's a prequel, it's set on Earth. There's a part of me that wants to go, I wonder if they lied to us. And they actually some of the things they've been establishing is like this is where it's set and this is what time it's set in might not be entirely true. I don't know, but like it feels like either it's a massive inconsistency in the writing, which is possible. Like these things happen, or there's an intentional thing going on here where everything that we've been kind of sold is actually not as true as they've been telling us it is. It's just been part of like the marketing spin on the whole thing, and we're actually going to get like a level of like understanding about the world where we're actually in a different space in time or something about it.
Lies! Deceptions!
That we don't currently know yet. I don't know. It does feel more like this feels like a strange writing choice at this point, and maybe I'm just coping.
It's fan service.
There's also that.
There's one more inconsistency with other timelines, which and okay, you want to say everything's inconsistent, fine, whatever. But like one inconsistency with Romulus, I saw here is so they put the Bronsky in the cryo sleep, cryogenically frozen sleep, right? In Romulus, they freeze the face hugger to get it off the girl's face. So they managed to get it off with freezing, but in this one, it feels like the face hugger couldn't be frozen
Yeah.
because of they implied because of a metabolic rate thing. So there's again, it's a small thing, but it's
I wonder
still
if
a
it's
thing.
like the level of frozenness because they they used liquid nitrogen in Romulus, didn't it? So it's like a more concentrated thing. And there's also like you could argue that like it's been on Bronsky longer, so maybe it's like at that point it doesn't even I don't know. I'm just fucking saying shit, you know. But you're right. No, I think that probably counts as an inconsistency. But there was also the bit in the bit at the end of Umbrius where they put what's her face in the cryogenic thing and she still like explodes.
Yeah, true.
And gives birth to that thing that Lily absolutely despises. um
Yeah, let's move past that.
but like there was still like things was still happened to her while she was meant
Yeah.
to be in cryogenic. So I'm wondering if it's the cryogenic sleep is just not a you're not frozen enough for things to stop happening. I don't know.
We could go through all the goddamn deaths, but who gives a shit? Really? They're all whatever. You knew they were coming.
Yeah, and it was funny because one of the things I did like about the episode there was the build up to somebody drinking out of that flask. I genuinely did think that was very well done, and I liked the fact that it didn't go the way that I thought it was going to, because it was very obvious to have something happen at that dinner table because that's exactly what happened in Alien, and so to have it so that like it went slightly left of where I thought it was going to go, because obviously the build up is like this woman is going to drink out of this flask and then she will have ingest the things, and then having him take it instead, I was like, okay, that's fun. And I liked the slow like zoom in on the water bottle on the table where you're like, okay, I get it, this is like terrible. So I thought the build up was very good. The execution was not nearly as horrible as I was building it up to be in my own head. Like I genuinely thought it was going to be worse. And I was a bit disappointed when it wasn't worse, even though I was like, oh God, it's going to be horrible. I was like, oh, that was a bit naff, to be honest. It's much as like they are horrible in when they apparently get enough blood and they just sort of carry it around in their little sacks. That's still disgusting. I don't know. It's a very interesting design, but I feel like it had more setup than it did have payoff ultimately. So you were just sort of like, well, all right. I wanted a bit, I don't know, I wanted it to be a bit worse. Like I wanted it to be kind of like I thought he was gonna like things were gonna start crawling out of him, and I was a bit disappointed that they didn't, to be honest. But
Yeah.
oh well.
Also, I'm going to say that that's the last thing I say about the entire thing is that once again, nobody reacts the way they should react. Nobody, like other than the acting captain, who was genuinely like, fucked about the whole thing. Everyone is just like, oh, there are, these creatures are loose now. Okay. And no one is terrified. No one is scared. No one acts like that. This is like, we should do something about this because this is just fucked as it is. No, everyone is just like, okay, I guess.
I would have liked a bit more of like a pushback from like, I don't know, the rest of the crew being like, we should just get rid of these things because like we're all gonna die, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
I think
nothing.
like just like a little bit more of like especially if we're meant to be on Morrow's like side and like having him feel more like an antagonistic force. If he was the one being like, no, we're not getting rid of them. Get your shit together.
Get it all together and put it in a backpack. All your shit. So it's together.
And having more people be like, no, I want it out. And then maybe making more stupid mistakes in the attempt to get rid of the things. I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm like, I just kind of wanted more of a pushback in some places. But not over the things like, we should save this guy who's clearly nearly dead. We should try and save his life. I'm like, no. At that point, get rid of him and then try and dump everything else,
Yeah. Everyone is way too chill. Just way too chill, because how they react in the first Alien is complete freak out. Like, we're fucked, and there's nothing of that here. Like, everyone is
chill?
like,
Who's chill?
Everyone.
No,
everyone.
but like, tell me specifically who is chill.
The engineers, the two doctors.
What did they say?
They just chill. They're just like,
they didn't
okay.
see anything though. They haven't seen the alien. So what are they reacting to?
But they know what they've picked up. They
know that they're around with dangerous things, so they are way too chill of like, oh, these things are loose now.
The Zavari doesn't know how big it gets to. Like,
it shouldn't. She shouldn't even know that it gets big.
Well, no, but you're telling me things.
Here's the thing: I'm not talking about the alien itself.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the other things that have gotten out. Like,
there's
general.
Nothing really that's got out. There's the octopus thing, which they didn't know that it was gone out. The person who realized that it got out, which was the researcher scientist, she almost breaks down.
Something burst out of one of their people's chest, and no one reacted to it. Everyone was like,
I think they did.
No, they didn't. There was no reaction.
What should they do? Just sit on the floor in a ball until it comes to get them?
No, just put like a little bit more of a like, I think we should probably fucking do something.
Yeah.
Like that kind of like buzzy anxiety.
Not just like, oh, I'm so hungry, I'm just gonna sit down and eat. Like nothing happened.
I think the people who saw the things reacted in the right way. Zavari saw the thing, reacted in the right way. Morrow saw the thing, reacted in the right way. The people had already seen the ticks. They were scared of them, but they tried. Like that. I think they reacted in the right way. That's my personal opinion. It's not like the engineer at the very start says get rid of everything.
It's not like I'm sitting there going like, I want everybody to be running around like headless chickens, being absolutely terrified. But like I felt like there was like maybe like a level of anxiety that I was missing a bit too like late on.
Yeah,
put it that way. Like it's like a step more of a sort of like, maybe we should like the kind of that sort of like more of a feeling of like we should be taking some kind of a step into feeling like things might go like poorly, because like that's just a survival instinct, right? It's like, oh, something's not right. That's the sort of like something isn't right, and I'm starting to feel gut reaction. Maybe we should like do something, and I feel like there was like a level of that was like missing,
especially because they have the scene where the two engineers, after the lunch or dinner or whatever they had and the whole meeting, they know that the thing got out. They know that it came out of Bronski's chest, and it's around somewhere in the ship. And then they are showed to be just taking care of things like nothing happened, and they are not even worried about.
They have to fix the ship, though. They have to fix the ship, or else.
Okay, but think back on Alien. the first Alien film, we have the sort of the same scene where they have to fix things, and they are like, you have to hurry up because that thing can be anywhere, and you know, and oh, it's just a tiny thing, and blah, whatever, and they are actually freaking out because it's the unknown. It's the unknown. You shouldn't be just, you know, out there and be like,
the other thing about that sequence in the dining hall, which I mentioned before, I didn't like the reactions to the fact that she's standing there and she's obviously like fucked up about a lot of stuff, and she's like, things are bad, and Morrow's the only other person who's like, things are fucking bad, and you guys should be paying attention to this, and everybody, it's like nobody's able to pick up on the fact that these are like very real emotions from the people that are meant to be like looking after them. And they're all just sort of like, well, you're all just fucking idiots. Well, we're gonna go off and leave containers open in the lab and let ourselves get poisoned.
Yep.
I don't know. There's like a level of like, I find it unbelievable to not have characters react to other people's emotions. Like, I can understand if some people are like, no, but like everybody else in that space being like, I'm just not buying that, like nobody's actually like starting to feel the anxiety that's building off of like the people that are meant to be in charge. Like Morrow's obviously very intense, but he then turned around and was like scolding them like school children, like, you need to fucking pay attention to this. I feel like I find it difficult to believe that nobody's going, okay, maybe I'm gonna act a little bit bravado, but like I'm starting to feel like something might be off here. That's the kind of thing that I'm like, it's not like I'm asking for the world, just like a tilt more into the direction of like, oh, maybe something's happening, but I'm going to ignore it because like that's too scary to look at. That's the kind of vibe I'm looking for. I do have one last thing, because we mentioned it very at the very top, and it's not like the biggest thing in the world, but like, the fuck was Teng's deal? Was he just a creep?
Yeah, he was just a creep. I thought he was a synth in the first episode.
I thought he was a synth.
But yeah, he is not. He's just an absolute creep.
He's just a creep. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
He was scarier than anything else.
Yeah, he was acting very, very robotic, and to a degree which is more robotic than Ash ever was or David ever was.
I thought he was, because they sent him off to go sit with the other synthetic that they had, right? Off in the corner in the first episode.
I don't even think that she was a synthetic.
What? I thought they were both synths. I thought, what the fuck? Which also was very confusing because I was like, why is the synth smoking?
Yeah.
No, he's just weird. Okay, cool.
Weird one. Just a weird guy.
Cool, great, gross.
And he's the one because he watched over that girl.
Yeah.
Who sort of realized that Petrovich had been taking wakey times. Why didn't he flag that up earlier? Just like, hey, I was just going watching this girl that I'm not supposed to go and look at, and I realized that one of the cryo beds not actually full.
I don't understand him. And I thought I understood him more if I thought he was like a synth that was like weirdly programmed. But if he's just he's not a normal guy, but if he's just like a human man being weird, I'm like, I don't get this at all. I don't understand what's going on here in the slightest. I did like the reveal of him being like, you're missing it. Because like that was kind of fun. I suppose it makes more sense that the Xenomorph would go after him if he's not a synth at that point then. But like, I didn't understand I didn't get the point. That's kind of it, really. I'm like, what's the deal here? What are we doing? I don't know.
I have one more thing, and it's about Prodigy.
He's been planning this, apparently.
Yeah, well, I don't know. He's been planning something. He knew about the ship before it was going down.
Yeah. More to a point, the ship landing in New Siam in his jurisdiction was very much planned, which I was like, that is an interesting piece of information that we didn't know before. So there's that.
Which sort of means he knew that it was going to crash into a fucking shitload of people.
Oh, yeah. And I'm not surprised he didn't give a shit.
Exactly. My other thing about Prodigy is that there is some sort of blood vengeance that isn't now needed with Morrow, because he blames Prodigy for everything, which, fair enough. You know, he should blame him, but like, it's personal on a new level that we didn't know before. I also thought it was funny. I think he was stringing Petrovich along a little bit, because Petrovich asked if he can download his mind into a hybrid like body, and he's like, some maybe soon, but like we've only seen it happen with children with
Oh yeah, he absolutely
non-developed
knows that they
minds.
haven't got the capability to do that to him yet, and
Yeah.
he's just like stringing him along to so that he can get what he wants. I did enjoy the thing of like, how do I know that you're going to follow through? And he goes, well, you don't, and you might die, so that's up to you, man. And he still goes on with it, so it's kind of
Mhm.
like, what the fuck was Petrovich's deal?
He wanted the money.
There's that moment when Morrow stabs him where he's like, this is just this is just inevitable now at this point. I think there was an element of revenge going on. I think he was pissed about like losing half of his like life or
Yeah.
something like that. I'm not sure, but it's not clear. I did find that whole the implication that like that thing becoming a bullet was very much like intentional, like, and it's also very quite interesting to be like, okay, so how did he manage to like make it so that it definitely landed where he needed it to
I don't know.
from
Also
that far off?
unclear.
That's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So that was our spoilers. Yeah.
No mold in this episode.
No
Disappointing.
mold because we're not in
We're
Neverland.
not
So
in Neverland. Next week, Mold
next.
Watch is back.
Yeah. All right. So let's go on to our episode rankings then.
I I wrote down a 7.5, but that's me being generous about it, I think. Not in terms of like how well I think the episode was done in terms of like filmmaking or anything. I thought it was very well done. It's just overall enjoyment. It it wasn't for me. And again, I think I'm being generous in terms of like my vibe with that.
Lily?
4.
I just
And
have
I'm
a
not
6.
being generous.
So yeah.
Yeah, not even Kirsch. So,
No,
you know,
no, Kirsch.
Okay.
no Kirsch.
Disappointing.
It's already disappointing. Yeah, the only saving grace now is Moro and the octopus thing, because even the Xenomorph was disappointing, which is in itself very disappointing.
Disappointing.
So yeah, 4.
I'm giving this a 7.
Mm.
I'm lower on it than I was last week, which was
Mm.
I gave a 70.5. It was perfectly fine if it wasn't part of this season, which was it's just been so consistent up until now for
Mm.
me, and it introduced it. Well, I know we'd met them before, but it introduced a bunch of characters that we didn't give a shit about.
Mm.
There was an it was a prequel to a prequel series
Mm.
where we knew that the outcome was Morrow survives, everybody else is fucked.
Mm.
And like that just took away a little bit of stakes. I did enjoy some of the new things we got about the monsters. The little ticks are more intelligent than we thought. The octopus is definitely more intelligent than we thought, and maybe a good guy or morally ambivalent. I don't know. But I did enjoy it quite a lot. But it didn't really add to this season and how strong it was in my opinion.
Mm.
So I give it a 7 because of how good how entertained I was by the episode of TV, not its placement in the series. I have one last thing to add. Alien Romulus, the sequel, just
Mm.
news just broke that Fede Alvarez isn't returning.
Well, he's not returning to direct it. I think he
Mhm.
still had a process in the writing of it, and he's producing it with Ridley Scott, but he's not directing it. He said something about them wanting to find a new blood
Mhm.
to direct it. So there's that, I
New
guess.
Blood.
New blood.
So not Ridley Scott then.
No, they said he very
Okay.
specifically said they wanted to find somebody new to bring their voice to it.
Hire me.
I hope it's a woman.
Give
Could
it to
be.
Sigourney Weaver.
Does Sigourney Weaver direct?
It could.
Okay. No, all right.
Cool. Thanks very much, everybody. Thank you for watching the Watching Now podcast from Alien Earth and Couch Soup. If you like this, then like and subscribe and do some comments, some nice comments as well. That would be lovely. Thank
Some
you.
nice comments.
Nice comments as well. But we enjoy any comments really, because like engagement is engagement at the end of the day. It's Sometimes it makes us feel bad about ourselves, but that's fine, you know.
That's okay.
And that's it for this week. Catch us again for next week, when we'll be back with episode 6. Thanks very much, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Beautiful.
You would have a joke.
Yeah.
Go on then, Lily.
Why is Peter Pan always flying?
Because he never lands.
I like this joke because it never gets old.
All right. There you got me there.
It was a double take. Oh,
Smart.
God.
It's so good.
Ah.
I
Okay.
was like waiting for like, yes, Lily, I've heard this. Oh no, you got me. All right, fair enough. I'll take it.